All right. We are live. Welcome, everyone. We'll have to see if people are actually listening. Bread and spread, because Conlon's not here. If we're going to call it bread and spread for this week.
Right. Yeah, there's some copyright infringement that we don't want to step on any toes.
Bread and spread for this week.
Right. Or make anyone think that make anybody think I'm replacing a legend like John.
So, no. I think going forward, it's going to be the three of us. Conlon's is he in Iowa?
Sure.
He's somewhere. He's somewhere in business. If he's listening, he should be listening. Yeah, if he's listening, he should be listening, because if he's listening, he should be he should be on here with us. So
exactly right.
We're gonna run this week, just the two of us. We're gonna be I said this going into, we haven't done spread and bread in, I don't know, has it been 2 years since Conlon and I did it? I think it's been 2 years.
I would say it's been 2 years. Yeah.
We didn't do last year. COVID obviously screwed everything up. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I think it's been at least 2 years. Yeah, I don't think COVID should have had anything to do with it, but John should
have helped.
But should have helped. Yeah, should have kept him. But we'll let John defend himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. He always used to come over and do it on Thursday night, so we'd hang out and stuff. But now it's actually easier. Someone asked me, I was talking today to someone about it. I'm like, this is actually easier because audio wise, it's easier because you're on a computer, everyone's on a separate thing. We did the one last year and it's just a mic in the middle of us and you're talking and there's echoes and it's just it's not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not a real natural conversation either. So
I'm just going to, I'm looking at the viewer. We have, I mean, again, I don't know how many people even know we're doing this. I'm going to tweet it out because there are 0 listeners, which is fine. It's fine. But I want to make sure people have a link to join. So let me just do this. Hang on a second. Copy link. No. Sorry for the pause.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a big week for local sports teams, huh? Lots of rivalry games going on. That might be a different podcast.
Yeah. But you guys are getting throttled on Friday, probably.
We'll see. I don't have as much a role in that anymore.
You went from coaching to not coaching. So
coaching and then off-season strength and conditioning coach to no role. Yeah. So I am now a spectator, just like everybody else. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Did you watch it? Did you watch the rest of the volleyball from last night or no?
Christy had it on, so I did have a chance to see. And it sounded like it really turned after we left.
It's real. When did you leave? I can't remember
after the second set.
Okay. So first set, Kimberly pissed the end of it away, right? We were up 22-18.
Yeah.
And then lost 27-29. That just can't happen.
Right.
Then we won the second set. Third set was just, we got throttled. And then fourth set was actually pretty close. So, I mean, it's North wins, whatever, in 4 sets. I think it was a lot closer. I don't think we played well at all.
That second set, if I'm thinking right, you had some sloppy plays that really kind of cost, where things could have gone either way and things got real sloppy. That's actually the comment Christy had made to me was guys volleyball is really sloppy. And I said, I think maybe it's just kind of going that way with this group right now, but
I think they probably take more chances, right? They're hitting the hell out of the ball more, but I don't know. But anyways, at the end of when the match was over, the Kimberly student section started chanting, "See you Friday."
So. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The tiebreaker is Friday. So for the fall.
All right.
What's in your mug, by the way?
Oh, I'm drinking twisted tea.
So
for those of you that don't know, I cut beer out. For the most part, not going to have any long day drinking beers. I'm just, when Jameson left, my kids have been like, "Hey, you got to get rid of your beer. You got to stop drinking beer." So I said to Jay, "All right, next time you see me, I'm not going to have my gut." So was on the treadmill today for a half an hour. I'm going to try to cut out beer, start eating a little bit healthier, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. I have this is what I found downstairs, so don't judge me. A Blue Moon Light Sky.
Oh, those aren't bad.
Tropical wheat.
Yeah, I've had those. Those aren't bad.
Yeah. So I've had these before. Nice and light.
Okay. Well, we still have zero viewers right now, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
we can go.
I had a list of stuff to do for this week, but that was with Conlon involved. So just a little teaser for next week. And Conlon and I had done this in the past, and we had talked about, and I told you we were going to do this at some point. So next week, what I want to do is our top 5. I don't want to use hated, but most disliked athletes. And I kind of I want to rephrase it to like athletes that you enjoy seeing play like crap, or I don't want to say maybe fail, but like who do you like to see not play well? Just suck it up.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, it was Chris Carter. I always want to see Chris Carter fail.
Yep.
That,
and who knows? Maybe he's on yours or Conlon's list still. Who knows? Probably not.
Yeah, he's the first person that came to mind for me. So there's a good chance.
We'll have that. We'll do that next week. You and I think every week we'll just kind of. So I don't want to. Conlon and I used to spend so much time on these picks, and it's like, it's boring. Like it gets boring. We'll break down the Packer game a little bit more, but we're gonna blaze through these picks. And it's for the first week, so we don't. Who the hell knows what we actually know or what anyone knows?
Yeah.
And then we'll do some. You're a big DraftKings guy, so we'll let you do some DraftKings stuff. I'll do some Prize Pick stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. I don't know. I can't imagine these. Who knows? These things are gonna go as long as we have topics to talk about and discuss.
So. Sure. I don't know if you maybe wanted to mix in a little bit of like a survivor pick too. Have you gotten to those yet?
Oh, geez. Is FanDuel running one or no?
DraftKings has a free one, I think, again, and then ESPN always has. They call it Eliminator.
Oh, okay.
And I was listening. I've listened to the radio today, and somebody was saying Denver, kind of the rivalry angle, because Denver starts with Seattle, I think, right?
Monday night.
Yeah. So a survivor pick. I heard Colts because I think Colts have the Texans, and sometimes in those survivor games, you're always basically target a team that's horrible and you go after them every week. I haven't gotten to that yet either, but that's on the to-do list before kickoff tomorrow.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to make a pick tonight because you just brought it up. So not now. We'll go through the games and you can do it at the end. Okay.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Because then that might bring some other teams to it. Yeah.
All right. So let's get going. So there's going to be a theme that I have on all this, which I think a lot of people have every year, but we'll see. So tomorrow night, Buffalo at the Rams. Buffalo is favored by. I did these spreads. What I sent them to, like this at 5 o'clock or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I did them earlier today. I did them within the last few hours.
Yeah.
Buffalo is favored by 2.5 at the Rams. Yeah. Here's my theme of the week. Home underdogs.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting spread, and I mean, week 1 in general is very unpredictable.
Yep.
The first game is even more unpredictable. I mean, we really have no idea where this is going to go. I guess a couple points though. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like the Rams are better in any way. I don't know that they made any real changes that made them a better team. I frankly, they're for a defending champ, they're not impressive in my opinion. Like I felt as though if the Packers could have figured out a way to survive San Francisco, I would not have been concerned with the Rams. Packers had beaten the Rams earlier in the year. So I don't think in terms of a defending champ, they're a real powerhouse, and they're not necessarily a really great home team either. So that said, them being a defending champ, underdog at home, yeah, that makes this very interesting.
So I said we're blazing through these. I'm taking
Rams.
So
yeah, I'll take the Bills. I mean, I just feel like the Bills got better. I don't think the Rams are impressive. And I actually think in a shootout kind of situation, which the implied totals suggest and the over/under suggest, I like the Bills.
All right, we're splitting that one. Next game, and so what we normally do is we'll just go through all the games. We always leave Green Bay for last.
Sure. Yeah,
we're Packer fans, so we'll talk about that last.
Yeah.
Next game is New Orleans at Atlanta. New Orleans is favored by 5.5. Another home underdog. A little bit different. Atlanta's supposed to be garbage, but New Orleans has Jameis Winston, and you have no idea what the hell you're going to get with Jameis Winston. There's it's all these games are going to be so like we're going to get to some games like, yeah, this team sucks, they're going to lose, whatever. And I think Atlanta's not great, but I don't mind Mariota. I don't think he's that bad. Like, I really don't. I don't know what to expect from New Orleans. They got a new coach who, by all accounts, has not been a great head coach ever in the NFL. So I will, again, take the home dog. I'll take Atlanta.
Yeah, and I mean, there's gonna be some bad games this weekend. I mean, we are gonna see some bad football. That said, I think Marcus Mariota has not been good since he was at Oregon. That's college football for those that don't know. He played at Oregon and he was good. He won the Heisman Trophy, but he has not been a good NFL player. I like the Saints here.
But how much has Mariota played? He played a little bit for the Raiders. He showed flashes with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Tennessee before that, right?
Yeah, but it's not like he was competing against for starting jobs. It's not like he was competing against Hall of Famers. You know, I understand Derek Carr and some people like Derek Carr and blah 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 because Devontae Adams is there. You know, he's not. He was a very high draft pick for Tennessee and lost the job very early on in his career and never got it back. I mean, you would think of in any place if he was going to get that job back, it would have been in Tennessee, and he never got it back. So I'm going Saints for sure.
All right. Next game, San Francisco at Chicago. Chicago is another home dog. San Francisco is favored by 7. This is one I will not be taking a home dog because the Bears are probably the worst team in the league, and I'm not touching them. I can't imagine a scenario where I would touch them. I'll take San Francisco -7.
Yeah, and the wild card here is Lance at quarterback for San Francisco, and I think I agree with you on this one. It's hard to trust Chicago against, I'd trust Chicago against like Detroit, but I think San Francisco is a good enough team that, especially if they're still warm weather games, Chicago's really got no home field advantage here. So yeah, I'd take the 49ers here.
All right. Let me just put that down here. Next game we've got is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 6.5. I'll let you go first here.
Yeah, boy, Mitch Trubisky at quarterback.
That surprised me. Well, I don't know. I mean,
and
whatever.
And Pittsburgh's banged up at receiver. I don't see how, outside of Najee Harris getting 40 carries a game, I don't know how Pittsburgh is going to score points. And I think the Bengals have a lot more ways to beat Pittsburgh than Pittsburgh does Cincinnati. Give me that spread again, though.
6.5.
Yeah, I'd go Cincy here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know in the grand scheme of things, like 6.5 points is technically a lot of points, but it's a touchdown. I mean, if you're just, and I get it, if you're tied at the end of a game, typically you just take a field goal to win it. But I just think that Cincy, it's a touchdown. Cincy's going to win by a touchdown easy, I would think, at home. Like, it's not, if this was on the road, I would take Cincy. It's at home.
Yeah, in that division, I don't think the home field it really even matters. So Cincinnati's got so many ways to score. 6.5 is nothing.
Yeah. All right, next game, Philly at Detroit. Philly is favored by 4. You shook your head, so go ahead.
This game, I mean, this is one of these scraping the bottom of the barrel games too. I mean, and this is one,
Philly's like favored to win their division. They got like a 9.5 over under for the win total.
I will take Philly to cover this, but I just don't see it with them. This was actually something I was going to get into with DFS because of the matchup. Hurts is like, the chalkiest of chalk for DFS this week because, the thought is that he's going to light up Detroit and Detroit's going to have another down year. I like Philly in this matchup, but I don't like Philly much going forward.
All right, just to let you know, we have a listener. So
that's
I
good.
want to I just put this on. We haven't used this in a while. Here we go. Let me
I could probably make a comment about my headset, right?
Let me just see here. Create a banner. All right. Oh, they're gone. I can write these banners at the end, at the bottom of them.
We need a producer.
Yes, no shit, right?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. You got it?
Yeah.
There you go. Send us your questions. Or tell us who is listening. I put it on Twitter, so maybe someone just clicked in real quick and that's it. Philly, Detroit. Okay. I like Philly. You know, I took Philly in our wins pool draft. Detroit's a home dog. I'm taking Detroit. I'm going to take the points.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm just taking the points, and it's a home dog. Like I said, home dogs is the theme. They typically cover a lot on the first week.
I don't know.
But
I just, especially in a week one, I'm not going to argue with you. This is the direction you want to go, but I don't think in week one home field matters as much, and I don't think in the NFL home field is really mattering as much as it used to anymore. But you stick with what you want to.
Couldn't you see Swift just going nuts though too?
I could see this actually being a high scoring game, and actually this is why Hurts is being pushed out there in DFS, because it could turn into a little bit of a shootout situation because both defenses aren't that good. And again, this is why, from a Philly standpoint, they're gonna have to earn my trust. I don't see it.
Okay. We'll get to DFS later. I have not done any kind of research in DFS for this week, and obviously you have started. So
that's what I'm here. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. All right. Next game, we got the Patriots at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are favored by 3.5. That's weird. I mean, Patriots have taken a step back. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it sounds weird. I could see this going this kind of a coin flip game to me, because there's just so many different variables going on here. We don't know what Tua is going to look like. We don't know Tyreek Hill, what kind of an impact he's going to have. We don't know if Tua is talented enough to get him the ball. We don't know what Mac Jones is going to look like in year 2. We have no idea which New England running back is going to get the ball. There's so much going on here. Part of me wants to go New England just because Belichick, and I think he's obviously going to outcoach most coaches. But I'm going to go Miami here. I think Miami is going to find a way to put up points. I could see this being a pretty ugly game in a week of several ugly games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more insight. I just think Miami's got the better player. I'm taking Miami as well. They got the better players. They got the better skill position. So, moving on, we got Baltimore at the New York Jets. Baltimore is favored by 7. This to me is a lot like the San Francisco-Chicago game. Same kind of type teams, same spread, and that's as simple as it is. I'll take the Ravens -7.
Yeah, you got a bad team at home, big point spread, but it's a big point spread for a reason, because the Ravens are much better. So I'll take the Ravens too.
All right, this is probably the worst game of the week, I think. Jacksonville at Washington. Washington is favored by. I cannot stand Carson Wentz. I think he is one of the worst quarterbacks not even like in the league, like one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. That would be we should do that list some week. I'm taking Jacksonville because I cannot believe that people are still in this Carson Wentz. I think he's awful.
Yeah, that Washington franchise is just a train wreck. If they finally changed the name, and the name is just a horrible pick, and they're boring. They've got some young talent. I think Jahan Dotson is a nice kind of sleeper guy that's gonna come through later on in the season if he's got a better quarterback to throw him the ball. But yeah, Wentz is awful. Jacksonville, again, keeps accumulating talent. If that's gonna amount to wins eventually, probably still not this year, but I think they're gonna win this game, and they're gonna cover. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're the underdogs. So
they're the underdog. Sorry.
Yeah, if they win, they'll cover.
Yeah.
All right, next game: Cleveland Browns at Carolina Panthers. Carolina is favored by 1.5.
Yeah, and we've got the angle here with Baker, right?
Yep.
And again, remind me, it's at Carolina.
At Carolina.
Yeah, I'd take Carolina.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what the hell do you expect from Brissett at this point, or that team at all, just with everything going on. To bet on them to me would be much more of a risk than betting on. Chris McCaffrey is going to probably at least get through game 1. Doesn't usually make it through the season, but he'll play game one, you would think. So I will take Carolina as well. Then we've got Indy at Houston. Did they used to do it where I feel like there was a time when they never had divisional games the first week. Am I imagining that?
Yeah, the 17th game I think is thrown things off a little bit. Where you used to get a little bit of a mix, a lot of interconference in week one. You'd get kind of an unusual matchup in week one. It does seem strange to see divisional matchups in the first week.
I think that's been going on for a few years, but I feel like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago that there was never ever a divisional game on the schedule. No one had one. It was just, that was the rule. If I look, we've got 1, 2, 3, I'll probably get this wrong. 4, 5, 6. So I guess not a ton.
Yeah.
Out of 16 games.
But more than you'd probably guess.
Yeah, that's a decent amount. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. So Indy at Houston, Indy's, did I say the game? Indy at Houston, Indy's favored by 7.
Yeah. And again, it's a road dog, big spread.
No, home dog. Home dog.
Home dog, big spread. And it's justified. Yeah. Indy big.
Okay. So this one, I don't think Houston, I think the Jets and the Bears are worse than Houston. I don't think Houston's as bad as those teams. Indy, you got Matt Ryan. They got obviously, Taylor alone could win this game. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take Houston. It could be a 40-10 game, Indy. That very well could be.
And I think the implied totals and the over-unders show that that's also what, Vegas thinks as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. The Giants at the Titans. Titans are favored by 5.5.
Yeah, Giants are awful. Daniel Jones is a starting quarterback. Barkley, can he stay healthy? So many question marks in New York. Tennessee's rock solid. Tennessee for sure.
Rock solid.
Yeah, I think
Henry off of injury.
Henry off injury. They have a good offensive line. They always have a decent defense. So yeah, I like Tennessee.
I like Tennessee as well. I just rock solid surprised me a little bit. That's all.
So I think they've just been a very steady franchise the last few years.
Next game, Kansas City at Arizona. Kansas City is favored by 6. I'm surprised at how much shit Arizona has been getting this. I mean, I feel like people are like, they suck. They're awful. And I'm just like, are they awful? I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I thought people, because they started like what, 7-0 last year or 7-1. I mean, they were like, and I know that they went bad after that, but they started really hot. And Murray's, people are questioning Murray now because of the contract and the words right away, and they took it back. But whatever. I mean, no Hopkins for the first, 6 games?
Yes.
No Hopkins. I don't feel like they're as bad as everyone is talking about. Like, people are talking about how they're going to be third or last in their division.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be that bad, but I can see them being around 500. Not that there is a 500 that exists anymore with 17 games, but is there a shorter QB to wide receiver combination than Kyler Murray to Marquise Brown, by the way?
It is small. It is.
They are very, is a very short combination there. Kansas City has some question marks, but you have a quarterback that can distribute the ball. You have a team with a ton of experience, and obviously Tyreek Hill's not there anymore, but the Chiefs have done well without Hill. In the past, they've not really suffered too much when he's been out. I like, and I'll get to this with DFS, but I do like some Kansas City options in fantasy, and I like Kansas City here.
I'm going to take Arizona for the reason one I just said is everyone is off of Arizona. Everyone is on Kansas City. I mean, everyone loves Kansas City, right? Like, it is So my assumption is, I'm surprised this line isn't already 10 for how much of my guess is people are going to take Kansas City. So one rule of thumb is always right. Go away from the public. So I will go away from the public and I will take Arizona.
I think there's just a general trust of Kansas City given their track record. And I think there's a general distrust of both Arizona and Kyler Murray.
Sure. I don't disagree with that, but this game I think this is probably one of the better games of the weekend. Las Vegas at the Chargers. Chargers are favored by 3. What are you smiling for? Because I'm a Raiders fan or what?
A little bit, yeah. And again, we're going to see Devontae in a different uniform for the first time, and that's going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting to see.
Are you excited for that?
I am. Yeah, I have no issues with Devontae going where he wanted to go play. I think he's going to be better off. I think eventually the Packers are going to be better off, although there may be some stumbles, not to give away, what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But boy, I almost wanted to call them the San Diego Chargers.
It's so hard for me.
Yeah,
or the fact that it's Las Vegas and not Oakland or LA either.
Right, right. But the Chargers, I think, really have put together a lot of really great pieces. This game is, again, one to target in fantasy. Who to target we'll get to here in a little bit, but just because I know who you're going to pick, I'm going to pick the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders, obviously. The Chargers don't have a home field advantage at all. No one cares.
No, it might be 50-50, if not more Raiders fans than Chargers fans.
Yeah. All right, 3 more games left. Next one is Tampa Bay at Dallas. Tampa Bay is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, this one, I think is one of the more interesting games. Could be one of the more entertaining games. This one turned into a shootout in Tampa. I think it was last year, maybe the year before. Some huge numbers from a fantasy standpoint. I'm going to take the Cowboys, which I think is surprise. I'm surprising myself here a little bit, but I think Tampa. We do have a coaching change in Tampa. We do have a little bit of offseason drama going on. I think Tampa is going to stumble a little bit out of the gates, and I think Dallas is going to jump on them and win this game.
I don't want to. I mean, I can have insight and stuff like that. I cannot stand Mike McCarthy. I've never liked him, and I will never ever bet on him. I just can't handle him. He will be out of a job, I'm assuming, at the end of this year, unless Dallas makes it deep in the playoffs, or maybe they make the playoffs. I don't know what to expect with Tampa Bay. Not with Brady. Did you hear? I think Simmons said this. Apparently, him and Giselle aren't living in the same house anymore, or maybe they're not staying in the same room. Something like that. Yeah. I didn't hear that until today.
Yeah, that was the explanation for his departure. So,
not the complete facelift.
That too.
Jeez. Holy hell!
Yeah, he's our age and he looks weird.
Yeah, he's close to looking like Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah, it's the jawline is getting way too defined.
All right, Monday night game, Denver at Seattle, the Russell Wilson game.
I guess. What is our spread there?
Oh yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, that's not even going to be enough. Denver's got so much talent, and I think people are going to realize the wide receiver talent and even the tight end talent in Denver and how misused it has been. And I think when they open it up, as much of a dork as Russell Wilson is, the guy can play and he can run and he's got every reason in the world to be motivated in this game. Denver, yeah, easy.
No reason for Seattle to be motivated.
Well, Seattle be motivated, but I think a lot of the guys that Wilson would have history with, the old guard guys, they're long gone. So Seattle's got reason to be motivated, but I don't think that'll be enough. I think Wilson's too good.
I didn't. I bring this up, and I have no background of it, and you might not either, so it's almost pointless for me to bring it up. Did you see the article they wrote? There was an article on ESPN today about the divorce of Wilson in Seattle. Did you see that?
I did not.
Okay. That would be great if either of us did, because then maybe you change your pick.
That'd be great content right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take the points. I'll take the home dog. I hate Denver, and I hate Russell Wilson.
You let your emotions get. You're like Conlon in a fantasy draft where he won't take Detroit, Chicago,
That's
Minnesota, or
ridiculous.
Dallas.
I had never had known that
For
until
20 years. For 20 years, we've been drafting with a guy and just never put all of that together that he refuses to take any
yeah,
guys. Yeah,
he holds grudges.
really?
That's common.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Well, we're gonna find out his grudges next week when he talks about his favorite players.
Yeah. All right. So last game, which is our game of the week. I think it's probably the game of the week.
I think so for sure.
I mean, you could say Buffalo tomorrow night. Buffalo Rams tomorrow night's a good kickoff. It's tough to beat Packers Vikings.
Yeah, I know. For compared to some of the other Thursday night openers, I think the one we got tomorrow is awesome. But
I'm excited for tonight.
Yeah,
very excited.
Packers Vikings. It's an interesting one because of obviously the Devontae Adams angle. I think in terms of the young receiver angle for the Packers, I think Minnesota, in terms of they have a coaching change. They continue to kind of funnel in some offensive weapons like they always have, and then underutilize them or misuse them, or they get banged up. Minnesota's always a tough place to play for the Packers. I think I heard on the radio today that they're in the last 60, and Minnesota they're 30-30.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
Yeah, so it's somewhat of a coin flip place to play for them. We've seen them play really well there. I want to say last year was kind of a mess there, and the year before was a bit of a mess there. Sometimes they found a way to squeak these out. Sometimes they, you mess it. Last year being one where they really messed it up, because I think they had with Savage drop that interception at the end of the game.
I
where
they I can't remember these games.
Yeah, they had a point where Savage had an interception in his hands that would have essentially won the game for the Packers, and replay showed that he dropped it, and then the Vikings went on and won. What is our spread here?
1.5. I think it opened at 2.5 for some reason. I think Green Bay was favored by 2.5, but it's 1.5 as of earlier today.
I think, and it's
we're both taking the fucking Packers. Like, who are we kidding? Like,
right, and especially in this game. I mean, and I'm taking the Packers. Because I think they really are going to come out and play a good football game. And I think the progression of this defense, I think, is really going to be on display. And I think they're going to be able to find ways to create some pressure on Cousins, which they haven't been able to do in past years. And I think the game is going to be won on the offensive and defensive lines. And I think the Packers are going to be able to run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to bring pressure.
Are we worried about Rodgers and the receivers? And Rodgers not playing at all. I mean, remember last year, was the first game we got beat, or was it like, I can't remember. I feel like it was we got beat. Or was that when would we get throttled by the Saints?
Game 1. Yeah, they lost last year 31-3. Like this is how week 1 can go.
Because they're rusty. They don't have any, there's no continuity. They haven't played any game. I mean, Rodgers has or hasn't, but everyone else kind of has for the most part. But is that not a worry? Like that's my biggest worry, is that it's going to take a half at least for them to even get some kind of comfortability with each other, acclimated with each other. And then even then, I'm not sure it's enough.
But won't Minnesota have the same?
I don't know. I don't know who they played in the preseason.
Yeah, right.
I don't know who all played for them.
I think you can expect some rustiness on both sides, and I would say that's going to even out. I think the Packers, frankly, have more playmakers on defense.
That's the hope, is that whatever the offense, whatever the however rusty they are, is that the defense just can generate something, so that it's not going to be a 13-3, 31-3 game, whatever. And Rodgers, that's my biggest worry. Just after last year, I'm just worried that these guys haven't played. I know they practice, whatever, but they haven't played any real time. Like, I just don't know what to expect with Rodgers and these receivers. And maybe he's just dumping off to Dillon and Jones the whole night. Day, whatever.
And that actually had crossed my mind too, that I think offensively they're going to play it really safe. I could see this being a game where it's a lot of Jones, a lot of Dillon, a lot of tight ends. And they're just not going to mess around with, hopefully they're not the 3rd and 1 deep pass incomplete down the sideline is out of the playbook for this year, because that does not work.
Probably not. It's probably not on the
Yeah,
playbook.
yeah. I really would love to see more of kind of the Bobby Tunyon up the seam kind of plays on, like a 2nd and 5 and him up the seam, and I could see that going, for some big plays. They're going to play it safe offensively, and they're I think this is going to be the shift that we're going to see to the Packers being, a ground and pound defensive oriented team. And this has been changing since LaFleur has been there, and it's going to change even more now.
Yeah. And I mean, not even, you say ground and pound, not as much even as like just running, but using your running backs in different, I'm assuming you mean in different ways. Like
Yeah,
Jones is not a ground, I mean, Dylan's more of a power back, but like it's going to be dump off, dump off, dump off. I mean, it's going to be a lot of those backs.
yeah, correct. A lot of and just a lot of misdirection stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna maximize Jones, and they're gonna maximize Dylan. And I think you're gonna see, Dylan really step forward with Adams out. And I know they don't play the same position, obviously, but as a playmaker in that offense, again, 13 wins in 3 straight years is a good indicator that LaFleur knows what he's doing, at least in the regular season. Playoffs, don't even get me started. But from a regular season standpoint, there's been some pretty good offensive consistency, and I'm going to trust LaFleur that they're going to come out and play well on offense, and I really trust that defense.
Unreal. I just got to the comments. Conlon has 3 comments. Awful. One of the speakers looks like he is directing air traffic. And why does this episode stink? So, Conlon, if you're tuning in,
yeah, where is he?
Yeah, I mean, I can send you the link. Do you want the link, Conlon? We got one listener. It's probably Conlon. I thought I could. I thought it automatically showed. It's in the side. Can you see the side stuff at all, or no?
I can't.
Okay.
But the one of the members of the show doesn't show up, but shows up in the comments to heckle. That's
an interesting
twist.
Typical Conlon.
Yeah.
Typical Conlon. All right. I hate the fact that we have such an important game right away week one. I hate it.
It's terrifying. Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, you could be 0-1 in the division.
Yeah, you lose this game in the division
week 1. Yeah.
Sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah. Yep.
We look at the other game. I mean, the only other game that's similar to this is the Raiders and Chargers. And even then, it's like, obviously you have the Chiefs that are favored, but you could see that division coming out of those two possibly, but nothing else is, the equivalent would be if you had the Ravens and Bengals against each other, I hate it. I hate it. I really hate it. It sucks. And to start off with a loss would just be not great.
Yeah. And I think the difference though, between the Chargers and Raiders is the Chiefs could easily win that division. And so really with Green Bay, Minnesota, you're talking about, these are the only 2 teams that can win this division. And one's going to have a big leg up, 1 week into a 17-week season. So it's huge. It's a huge game.
Yeah. I'm not, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I'm just also terrified of how it may go.
Yeah. I'm sure I will, let's say, have some gastrointestinal distress Sunday morning for a while. So,
all right. So those are the games. Let's do a survivor pick.
Yeah. Let's do that.
I hate, so like the 3 high spread games, it's Baltimore, San Francisco, and Indy are all favored by 7, but they're all on the road.
I'm not touching San Francisco in a survivor pick.
I'm not. Yeah.
I don't think I'd even touch the Ravens here.
Oh, I was going to say, I think I'd be fine with touching the Ravens.
I would be more comfortable with possibly Indy and possibly the Broncos. Those are the 2 that I mentioned right off the bat, and those were the 2 that were talked about on the radio. I think they're safe. I'm probably leaning Indy right now.
I think there was I don't know what year it was when we were doing spread and bread where I got really far. And I think I got to like week 10 or 11 or something like that. and I had like certain rules. One of them was don't pick divisional games because you have no idea what the hell's going to happen. And I feel like the other one I had was don't pick road or home dogs. So
You
I'm
have
looking.
that luxury. You have that luxury in week 1, but as it continues, you won't have that luxury.
Oh, no, right. No, I know. Because I'm looking, I'm like, God, would I take Cincinnati? But that's a divisional game. Indy Houston divisional. That's Baltimore. That's why I would take Baltimore's. So, but the Jets are a road or a home dog.
The Jets are very much unknown. We don't know what things are going to look like. Is Flacco starting week 1 or is okay?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I look at all of this, it takes out, it takes out six divisional games, take out all the home dogs. You're left with Carolina -1.5, Washington -2.5, Tennessee -5.5. I think I'm going to take Tennessee.
Interesting. Yeah, because they're rock solid.
Because they are rock solid.
Yeah. I'm sticking Indy, and that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm taking Tennessee. It does not make me happy.
It's a tough week. It is, as far as a survivor pick. Usually there's one that jumps out, and it's a guaranteed, and there are almost none of those this week.
Yeah, because we're not to the point where we're going to get like 10, 11, 12, 13 point spreads. It's 7's the most.
Yep.
And that's
tough week.
Yeah. All right, I'll take Tennessee. We're going to keep track of these obviously as the week goes.
Yeah.
I'll look at Conlon's picks here. Oh, Conlon doesn't look like he's listening anymore. No one's listening. Not a very popular podcast, Koshuta. That's all right. It is what it is.
Yeah, all right. Well, get Conlon's picks.
Mike's going to listen tomorrow. It's his birthday. Mike's listening tomorrow.
Okay. Get Conlon's picks for all this before tomorrow night's games. Have him send those over.
I will. Conlon, you heard that? Well, you'll listen tomorrow maybe. Let's just real quick before we get to some gambling stuff. What are your thoughts, and also what are your expectations on the Packers? Two kind of different things. Kind of.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today because I figured we'd end up talking about it, and right now my mind is settling in right around 11 wins. I think they're the best team in this division. I think even if they lose Sunday, I think they still win this division. I think it could be a slow start, and I think people have to be prepared for the possibility for a 2-2 kind of start. That's going to be frustrating, but I think there's just so much depth on this team. There is just so much talent, and I think that will. It may take some time, but I think they're going to be a solid team, and actually, I think coming in as more like an 11-win team might, as much as it kind of sounds weird, not having home field advantage might take a little bit of that pressure off, and they can play a little bit more relaxed going into the playoffs. I see him at 11 wins. I think it'll be a few bumps in the beginning, and then I think they'll hit their stride after maybe about week 5, week 6.
Okay. Do you know the first 4 games? You probably do. I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of tough. I want to say, actually, why don't you bring that up just so I don't make.
Yeah, I was just going to say I can bring it up and see here. The Packers. 2 seconds. All right, Vikings, home against the Bears. That's easy. At Tampa Bay, and then home against Patriots. And then home against the Giants, and home against the Jets, and then at the Redskins. Yes, I'm calling them the Redskins. That's all I'm going to ever call them.
Yeah.
I mean, legit, like, 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's 5. They're going to be 5-2 at the very worst.
Sure. But you may see, kind of an inexcusable loss mixed in there just because the offense gets clunky or whatever.
Who would you expect them to lose to out of those teams, though?
Tampa.
Tampa. Yeah, right. So that's one of my 2. I would say you could lose to the Vikings or Tampa. You're beating the Bears, you're beating the Patriots, you're beating the Giants, you're beating the Jets, you're beating the Redskins.
Patriots is at Green Bay, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to imagine them losing more than 2.
Yeah.
But again, my prediction again was more in that first 4 weeks, kind of, splitting those games. Maybe losing to to Minnesota and Tampa, or some other combination.
Sure.
Right. And things getting just, well, again, last year, it was the end of the world because they got absolutely destroyed by Jameis Winston, and the season was over, and Rodgers needed to retire, and everything needed to, just fold the franchise, and they're going to have some clunkers. Oh my goodness. There is a Morky in the podcast.
Right, buddy. He wouldn't stop scratching the door. Everyone, this is Floyd. Still puppy, so he's hyper.
Yeah. We've got a dog. We got a dog in the podcast.
You gotta go out. Okay, go out. All right, sorry. Okay.
So your predictions.
It's so hard because I just have no clue what this offense is going to look like. I trust Rodgers, but I don't want to go this season with Cobb and Watkins as two of our top 3 receivers. That's fucking terrifying. I don't know how we got to this point where we're like, oh yeah, if Cobb and Watkins, those are 2 and 3, we're good. No, we're not. That is not a good thing. When's Watkins done anything? I don't get the whole Watkins thing. Cobb is on his like last hurrah, like James Jones wearing a freaking hoodie. No, I'm not sure Cobb's gonna wear a hoodie, but like, I mean, come on, he's literally a year away from retiring, right? I wouldn't. If he retired next year, would we be surprised?
I would not have been surprised if he retired after last year.
Yeah. So we need. I think Lazard will be fine. Tunyon will be good. It's either Watson or Dobbs that needs to step up. It's one of those guys that I'll feel better about. And I don't know. The biggest fear with Dobbs is what everyone talks about, is that if he drops 2 passes, Rodgers will be done with him. Yeah. And then you just lose an option. Like, you're just going to lose an option. He's just going to say, screw it, don't even play him. I don't know. And I think that's why we touched on before. It's going to be a lot of Jones and Dillon.
Yeah.
And then the fear there is, all right, well, let's hope we don't freaking wear those guys out and one of them gets hurt, because that just presents a bunch of other problems. So I don't know. The NFC, I don't think the NFC is great. I mean, there's just so many quarterbacks with question marks. I mean, and we're biased, and I think that the Packers can get to the Super Bowl, but that's what we thought the last 3 years. And
right.
We're not even sure the special teams is even better. Like, they should be, but I'm not sure that they are.
No, but I do think a lot of the personnel decisions in terms of the final 53 were based around special teams. So I think you can assume it will be better just based on personnel, and I don't think the preseason is a good indicator, because you have a lot of guys that are not even on the team anymore playing special teams in those situations. And the last 2 weeks, you've really solidified those units. It's got to be better. It could not be worse on special teams.
Right.
I really, in terms of the wide receiver conversation, I see Sammy Watkins as a guy that they're trying to get about maybe 9 or 10 games out of, to buy some time, to add some stability to that position. So until Dobbs or Watson or Toure or whoever really kind of steps forward and is in that spot and gets over that kind of rookie hump, whatever we want to call it, quickly, and is able to be that, I guess you would say, almost a 1 or 2 receiver. I mean, I really feel like at the end, when it's all said and done, Lazard is your 1. And
right. Yeah.
And then you're just hoping that some type of a pecking order fleshes itself out after 5 or 6 weeks, and the cream rises to the top, and the best guys are going to be there. I don't think it's going to be Watkins. I don't think he's going to be able to stay healthy. I don't think it's going to be Cobb, because he's just too old. So you're going to get probably Lazard and a rookie or 2, along with Bobby Tunyon. I think DeGuara is going to play a big role this year, and then your 2 running backs. But keep this in mind: they only kept 2 backs.
Yeah, I know. Well, Hill's out. Hill's out the first 4 games.
Yeah. So, we're going to see, in terms of, especially this week, and apparently Lazard got stepped on. I think he's probably still going to play, But you know, it's going to be very interesting what the pecking order is on Sunday in terms of these receivers and who actually sets foot on the field and on offense. These young rookies are probably going to play some special teams, but in terms of who's actually on the field on offense, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And one last thing I will say, and you guys, I don't like him. You guys know I don't like him. Crosby, my biggest fear is Crosby is going to cost us 2 or 3 games this year. He is on his. I would have been 100% fine if they cut him this year, and kept what's his name. How's his name?
Yeah, Ficken. Well, they had Ficken before. Yeah, but they brought in that new kid this year.
Yeah, and he's on practice squad, right? He didn't miss a kick in the preseason.
Yeah.
Crosby's going to cost us a game. He's going to cost us a game. If not more, it will cost us 2 games at least.
Well, and here's the issue that with the Packers, and again, I'm kind of indifferent with Crosby, but the inconsistency between the long snapper and the holder, like you can't keep changing that out. They keep getting rid of guys, and I don't know if Jordan Love can't hold, but it's always been the punter holding. That's not helping the situation either when you got a new long snapper and a new holder every single year.
Yeah. Is it Ramiz Ahmed?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah. Yeah. He looked solid.
Yeah. I would feel good if he was our kicker and Crosby was not, but whatever.
Honestly, with this offense, I'd rather, if they're at the 40 or deeper, just go for it. I just don't even mess with the field goals anymore.
Crosby's in his 16th year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right. We are almost at an hour. Let's finish up with some DFS, some DraftKings and some Prize Pick stuff.
Sure.
Let's discuss a little bit, maybe a pick for tomorrow night. It's gonna be a showdown slate.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do the Thursday through Sunday or Thursday through Monday DraftKings Classic if you want, but let's just do showdown for tomorrow night, and then main slate for Sunday. What you just kind of any thoughts you got?
Sure. So going into tomorrow night, really what I looked at is I anticipate this being, a fairly high scoring game. I don't recall the over under, but it's in the 50s.
52.
52. Buffalo's got a pretty high implied total. I think they're 27 ish, which is higher on the scale. Maybe they're 4th or 5th highest implied total for the week. So really looking at matchups here, if we were looking at a team scoring a lot of points in Buffalo, and really the Rams having some corners that can match up against their 1s and 2s. So Diggs maybe potentially being taken out of the game a little bit. Gabriel Davis is kind of a favorite right now in terms of DFS. I think he's a little bit overpriced. So really where I'm focusing in on for tomorrow night is some lower price guys. One being Isaiah McKenzie, who is he's a 4.42 guy. He's not big. I think he's like 5'8", 160 something. Just a
small.
Yeah, he's not a big dude, but I think he's gonna have a lot of space. The other guy that I've seen brought up is Jamison Crowder, who is on Buffalo, and a lot of people probably don't know that. He's a really experienced guy. He's a guy, and a lot of people from a fantasy standpoint would be familiar with. I think he's probably a little too old. So I like Isaiah McKenzie tomorrow. He's super low priced, and I think he's a guy that could surprise some people, get a touchdown, maybe have a big player or two in him.
All right. Any surprising players in the Rams at all? I mean, obviously you've got Kupp, Stafford, the usual, but
I don't think I have anybody on the Rams that I'd be surprised with. I think that offense, in my opinion, is a little bit predictable. It's going to be Kupp, it's going to be Akers. Obviously, and maybe people don't know this, Allen Robinson is there. He's never really had a great quarterback throwing the ball. The guy's played in Jacksonville and Chicago. I mean, can you think of 2 worse places to play than there? So Allen Robinson, I think, is a guy that you could focus in on and get in a few lineups just because, he's a super talented guy. And I think if you watched him play for the Bears, you're like, my God, if he had a quarterback, he'd be so good. And so we'll see if he comes out, but he's still fairly high priced on the showdown slate, at least.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's much of a sneaky play because he's got kind of a high price tag. I mean, maybe Higbee, but whatever. I really don't I mean, if you want to get into kickers, sure, but I know you hate kickers, so I'm not even going to go there. So
I hate kickers in fantasy leagues. DFS, I mean, if you get one that gives you 10 points, it's usually not too bad.
well,
Well,
Bass and Gay are both kickers that you could
yeah,
target tomorrow night. You could put one as a captain in a
for
showdown,
sure.
and that you put you in a great spot in terms of being able to fill out the rest of that lineup and get some of these higher priced players, because it's very top heavy. You've got Allen, you've got Stafford, you've got Cup, even Robinson is way up there, Diggs is way up there. So you get a kicker, you can a captain, you can fit in a lot of studs.
How many lineups will you do tomorrow night? Will you do 20?
Just for tomorrow?
Yeah, just a showdown slate tomorrow night.
For tomorrow, I'll probably do about 10 on DraftKings. I'll probably do maybe another 5-6 on FanDuel.
Okay.
Just to, and a lot of variation, so
Yeah, cover your bases.
I got cover the bases, and if I'm going McKenzie in one, I'm going with Crowder in another. There's just not a lot of the Rams have made this really hard in terms of filling out these lineups, because I just they're so focused on Cup and it's Akers, and after that it's really unknown. I know I almost called him Van Morrison. Van Jefferson is he's banged up, so you might see like a sneaky Skoransky or whatever his name is,
Oh,
Skorenik,
yeah.
Skoransky,
I
Skorenik.
don't know what it is, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he might be a sneaky play, but I don't trust that nearly as much as I trust him McKenzie. McKenzie's been in that offense for a year, and I like him as far as big play potential.
All right. All right, so let's move to the main slate. So in the main slate, you won't have the Denver-Seattle game. You will not have the Tampa Bay-Dallas game, correct? So
Correct.
those two games are up, and everything else is in. Obviously, you will not have Buffalo because that's tomorrow night.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. And in kind of looking over some of the recommendations, it seems, I mentioned before, Hurts is really chalky. Like a lot of people are leaning Hurts. Even Najee Harris is really chalky, like
I was going
because
to say
that
I'm going to
offense.
bring up the salaries right now because I have not even looked at. I'm just curious where these.
Yeah.
I'm curious
Yeah.
where Hurts is.
Yeah. He's probably more mid range. Again, he's really chalky because he's a low
He's the
price
sixth.
quarterback.
It's Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar, Kyler, Rodgers. Rodgers ahead of Hurts surprises me.
Yeah. Yeah. I still, it's not that I don't like Hurts and not that I won't have Hurts in lineups, but I think his ownership's going to be really high.
Yeah.
And so I think you got to be conscious of that. I think Najee Harris seems to be one that's I'm seeing everywhere. The other ones I see everywhere are any Cincy receivers. So Chase, uh, uh, T Higgins, big, a lot of people going after them. Again, that's a tough situation to kind of sort out and figure out, which one's going to have a huge game and which one's going to have 2 catches for 25 yards.
I'm
So
looking at this. That's a salary. You got Dalvin Cook's at 7,900. And then if you go down to Harris, this explains why he's chalk. He's 7,400 or 6,400.
Yep.
And then 2 spots, $200 cheaper is Madison, Cook's backup. Is
Makes no sense.
Minnesota doing something different? Are they doing a shared backfield? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And
That's weird pricing there.
he's ahead of Barkley.
Yeah, but
And he's ahead of Montgomery.
But DraftKings set those prices like
A while ago,
6 or 8 weeks ago, like something nuts, where they get those slates out there so early, and they get the slates out there before the preseason even starts. So what is the point of this?
Yeah, I mean, your chalk. My guess is the other chalks are going to be Brees Hall at 5,500, AJ Dillon 5,300.
He's been mentioned many times. Yeah.
Where's Pierce at, the Houston running back? 4,800. I mean, he's going to be in every lineup.
Yeah. There's a few guys. Again, I mentioned more familiar names, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be mixed in there. That So I'm going to give a back, a receiver, and a quarterback who are probably going to be a little less chalky, but I think are in as good, if not better, situations than a lot of these guys. The first one is he's got his team's got the highest implied total of the week, and that's CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like him a lot in that game. I think he's He's a guy who he's the lead back. He catches passes. And I think in an uncertain situation in Kansas City, in terms of Tyreek Hill not being there, I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I could even see a situation where you stack Edwards-Helaire and Kelsey in the same lineup.
All right.
Yeah, I like him. He's my back. The second guy is receiver. Again, his team is second highest implied total. That's the Chargers, and it's Mike Williams. I think he's a guy who's been on a pretty steady upward trajectory the last few years. I know Keenan Allen gets a lot of attention. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't anybody that would go Keenan Allen this week would be fine, but Williams, you're going to get at a little bit of a discount. And he's a guy that he's a mismatch nightmare. He's such a huge guy. He's so fast and really he really stepped up last year. And I think he's a guy who's going to come out and have a really good game, especially divisional game, familiar opponent. The last one you're gonna really laugh at, and it's going to be interesting when I come out, because I'm guessing you're not going to argue with the first two. This one, it pains me a little bit, but this is the Colts have a 27 implied total. They have one of the higher implied totals on the slate, and you're right. I'm going Matt Ryan here.
Right.
Matt Ryan at quarterback. Yeah, Matt Ryan at quarterback. Good offense. When he dumps it off to Taylor and Taylor runs 40 yards, that's points for him. Yep. You've got Pittman, who's being mentioned a lot. And I think it's going to be a better offense. It's an offense with some talent. I'm not saying Matt Ryan's going to be a high scoring quarterback on the slate, but I don't remember where Ryan ranked salary wise, but it's a pretty nice one if you're trying to squeeze in some talent.
I'm not mad at that one. Yeah,
no,
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I wrote them down. We'll keep track of them and see how we go each week. That's what we'll try to do each week, is just kind of give some players and
sure.
And things like that. How many lineups are you going to do on Sunday? You're going to do 20 on Sunday, aren't you?
Yeah, probably at least.
Yeah.
For the main slate, geez, yeah. Yeah. I probably already have about 10 ready to go. And it's Wednesday, so.
How many will you play, like in the $5 millionaire or the whatever?
You don't mess around with that much. I've got a bunch of free tickets for that, so I'll take what I think are probably the ones that are some of the guys that I like, but it's a unique lineup. I'll probably try and drop a couple in there.
So here's my feeling. I've always been like this DraftKings wise. So I have 5 tickets for the $5. Is it it's a $5 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, for something, whatever.
Yeah.
So I have 5 tickets. I will not do any more than 5 lineups, because if I take, let's say I do 10 lineups and 5 of those I don't do in the millie, and all of a sudden one of them goes off and I'm like, I didn't put that in this because I guessed wrong, I would never be able to live with. I'd be so pissed off.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 5 and that is it. And they're going 5 in there, and I'm not touching another one, because I'm not missing out on one lineup that I just happen to do whatever extra.
Yeah, and you and I have gone back and forth with this for many years, and I'm a quantity person, and it's really the only way I've found that you can kind of overcome what you're talking about.
I agree. Right. Like if you're just like load up Saturday or Sunday and you're like, I'm going to do $1 entry in the 300,000 people one, you're not going to win. Like, it's just not going to happen. You need to enter 20 or the max lineups, whatever. That I totally agree. But like, if I'm going to do 10 lineups and I have 5 tickets, then I'm taking the other 5 and I'm putting them in, and I'm spending $25 to put them in. I am not going to have a lineup that's not in the millie. Like, I cannot imagine living with myself that way.
Sure.
I get the strategy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's a reason with a lot of these contests that the max is 150.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. But it's, DFS is it's mostly quantity based. If you're running a little bit more luck when you're the fewer entries you do. So you overcome that luck a little bit with more entries, and entries that are diversified enough to include some guys that have the opportunity to Isaiah McKenzie is a guy who, if you got him in there and he goes off tomorrow night and he's in your Thursday through Thursday through Monday, the
Yeah.
full slate, the Thursday, Monday, you're in a great spot. You're going to be very different than most people. But I'm a much bigger fan of the smaller slates. I'm a much bigger fan of your early onlys, your afternoon onlys, because I like limiting the games, the number of games, and going heavy in terms of quantity.
Yeah, I'm with you, because in those big, like, if you miss out on one guy, you're done.
Right.
You're done. I mean, you could technically say the same thing for the smaller slates, but it's easier to hit on the guys because there's just less guys to choose from.
Yep.
All right. So are you doing Prize Picks at all yet or no? You still not on board?
Not on board.
So I told you this, right? That I bought a website, whatever, a thing for this, for Prize Picks.
You bought a website.
Bought a website. I bought a membership for a month.
Oh, okay. You got a membership. Okay.
Yeah. Did I tell you this or no?
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna pub this website because it's whatever they can. So what people do is Twitter is insane with Prize Picks, right? Everyone's got the locks, and it's just
right.
If you follow all these Prize Picks people, it is insane. So what ends up happening is people will buy memberships, and then they'll steal the picks, and then they'll put them on Twitter as like their own picks, and you know what I mean? Nice. At one point, this membership, this website that I bought, and I'll tell you what it is in a little bit here. Someone was basically like word for word putting the locks out, whatever. And the guy who created this website said, if you're going to steal my picks, at least give me credit for it. Right. So anyways, so the website is dgfantasy.com, and they have come up with this optimizer. So what the optimizer, because his theory, and you probably don't disagree with this, is math doesn't lie. Like math, right. And his big thing is like math doesn't care about your feelings. So all these guys come up with these little like formulas and these whatever. And all this optimizer does is it is attached to basically all the sports book lines and what their value is. And then it relates it to the Prize Pick line and then spits out like a percentage of likelihood to hit. Right. It's like this, it is a formula, but it's based on percentage based on Vegas lines and Vegas value. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to spit out I'll give you a pick from it, and he gives picks on Twitter all the time too. You don't have to pay for his membership. But I will say the first day that I paid for his membership, I did a 2-player flex, I did a 2-player pick and a 3-player pick, and they both hit, and I made almost my money back immediately the first day. Now, did that money go back? Did that money go back in? And obviously, and I lost. Yeah, of course. But it's just a money thing, right? So the whole theory is over time, this is the only way to win money. And it's called plus EV bets, estimated value or expected value bets. So the optimizer spits out color-coded. If this is in a plus EV bet, you bet on it. If it's not, you don't. So if it's not green, you don't bet on it. So what's funny about this is, maybe not funny, but again, it's dgfantasy.com. The guys, it's like a guy's name is Matt and TJ. The two guys run it. The two guys run it, TJ and Matt. And I've actually messaged them both on Twitter just about stuff, and they respond right away. So it's really good. But
not to be confused with TJ Maxx.
No, not TJ Maxx. No, TJ and Matt.
Okay.
So, and the stuff changes. The optimizer will change based on Vegas values, maybe Prize Picks bumps the line, whatever. But like right now, and this is what's really, really weird about it, or really like you're gonna be like, oh my god, I never bet that. The top 4 plays are all receiving or rushing touchdown plays. And they're all 0.5s, and they're all unders.
Interesting.
So you're going to bet that, like, if you took the top 4 plays, you are betting that all 4 of these guys do not score a touchdown.
Interesting.
So I messaged this guy, Matt, tonight. I said, do you really play like these 4 in a, like, or whatever? He's like, I played top 5 in a flex. I played all 5 together. Because they have like a 68% chance of hitting or a 62% chance of hitting. So
very interesting.
But so like the play, and the play that he actually tweeted out tonight, and Prize Picks already pulled it, was Alvin Kamara rushing touchdown under 0.5. So you're betting on Alvin Kamara not to rush a touchdown, not to have a rushing touchdown. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah, and make the game interesting. That's for sure. In a really bad game.
But you just like, and New Orleans is playing at Atlanta. I'm like, you think Kamara's not gonna, like, how Vegas thinks that Kamara's not gonna have their value is on the under. Like, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That
So,
it's interesting, you know, and I could see a lot of, you know, Devontae Adams not scoring. These kind of situations, new, you know, big name player with a new team, despite the matchup, you know, a guy like that not scoring. I can
so
see
that's
that.
funny. Devontae Adams is on the optimizer as one of the better plays of
Yep.
not scoring
Yep.
as an under. That's crazy to me. How many people are going to look at that and go, Devontae Adams, of course he's going to score a touchdown. Bet it. You know what I mean? So again, dgfantasy.com. I'm not going to sit here and pay my money and give you guys all the picks. You know what I mean? Because these guys make a living for doing this. So I bought it for the month. I'm going to use it. I'm probably going to buy it. I'm going to buy it for next month because next month the NBA starts. And you bet your ass I'm going to bet it. So it's, you know, Mike and I talk about these prize picks, props, strikeouts, and even these touchdown stuff. When you have like a 0.5, it's so hard. Like, it's just one thing goes wrong, you're screwed.
Right. Razor thin.
Yeah. So a couple props on the board a few days ago were Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb under their receiving and rushing yards. And within 6 hours, Prize Picks bumped their lines and it wasn't value anymore because they knew they had it set so high and then they lowered them. So when I look at Prize Picks, and again, I'll give you a pick here, but like I did this before the optimizer. I just always would look at Prize Picks lines and then go to like Bovada and see where their like comparison is. And I would always do rushing, receiving, or passing yards because it's a larger number. So again, I think they pulled Kamara off the board. Did I say that Kamara? I think is already off the board.
Yeah.
So, and unders terrify me. Like, unders just terrify me. There was one I saw, I think that I liked, that I'll give you for the week. And that was over Kirk Cousins pass attempts. Let me just make sure what it's at here because it might have gotten pulled. Yeah, pass attempts. Over Kirk Cousins pass attempts. 34.5. Over 34.5 pass attempts.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's playing the Packers. It's going to be playing from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would guess history would probably show us he's gone over that in past games.
Yeah, see, now that line, I don't know. It's I want to use this optimizer, but like I almost want to use a feel for me. But that one, see, like, so I looked at this before we came on like an hour and a half ago, and where the percentage must have changed, the value must have changed. It's such a weird thing. Mike's like, I don't get it. What about that? I'm like, I know. It's just math, right?
Right.
So
your pick.
What's that?
Your pick.
Yeah, let me just double check this here. God, it's amazing to me. Do you really think Devontae Adams is not going to score a touchdown? The problem with that is, though.
No, I don't.
You don't think he's going to?
No.
Let me just find what I like here. Let's go Elijah Mitchell under rushing yards, under 64.5 rushing yards.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
We'll do that.
It's a very uncertain situation. It's on the road. Chicago might have a good rush defense. Who knows what the San Francisco...
What's that?
Who knows what the San Francisco offense looks like with Lance? It's
right.
Not Garoppolo.
Low point total. Yep. It's tough. Like, Prize Picks is, everyone wants to bet overs. You always want to, it's just more fun to bet overs, right?
Right.
But like, there's a lot of people like, you bet under, like the season long bets, bet under. Like, you get an injury. You're always, when you bet an under, you're winning right off the bat.
What I think is interesting, and not to go back, but what I think is interesting is that there are prop betting pirates on Twitter. They're pirates.
Why does that surprise you?
Well, yeah, it shouldn't. It's just that it exists is just hilarious. You have Twitter pirates out there snagging stuff and trying to get followers and whatever.
Yeah, it's shitty, right? These guys, I mean, these guys put a
Yeah.
lot of work in these optimizers
for
and shit
sure.
like that. For people
For
to
sure.
steal that shit, it's kind of sucks.
Yeah,
But
it's ridiculous. All right.
so that's why I wanted at least, and by no means, by the way, is what the pick that I gave you. But it is not a bet that is technically plus EV. It's a good bet, but it's not plus EV. But
Right.
I just want to give props to this website. So if anyone wants to go, it's $55 for the month. It's not a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you win 2-3 player bets on Prize Picks, you basically got your money back. So it's not like it's impossible to do. So
yeah.
But yeah, dgfantasy.com. They've got and you'll like this. Well, I can't believe you don't do this. They got NCAA and NCAA football too. They got college football.
Yeah. Maybe they should sponsor us.
Ooh. I'll message Matt and TJ and put our link in their DMs and let them watch, and they can
Sure
see all the value they get with all the listeners we have.
Right.
No.
Right.
All right. I don't think was there anything else we had on the agenda. I don't think so.
I don't think so. You going to the game in person at North?
No. Is it at North?
At North.
No.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is I'm going to watch on YouTube. It'll be streamed, right? North will stream it.
It'll be streamed. Yeah.
You're going, I'm assuming.
Maybe.
I'll watch.
We were just Chrissy and I were just talking about that tonight. If it's worth just because of how packed it's going to be, maybe just staying home. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'll watch the first quarter. It'll be 21-0, then I'll turn it off.
Yeah, I'm not saying a thing. Not saying a thing.
Okay. I have a feeling it's going to be a shellacking.
Not saying.
You're not going to say a thing, but I will say it. It's going to be a shellacking.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We'll recap it next. I'm sure Conlon will love to recap it too. Whatever happens.
Sure. I'm sure he will.
Game, so.
Yeah.
Are we doing this Wednesdays? Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Thursdays, can you?
Cannot do Thursdays because of volleyball, so Wednesdays are going to have to be the go. So,
yeah. Wednesday should work for me. I don't think, and I guess we'll see what Conlon says. So,
yeah. Get well soon, Conlon.
Yeah. We missed you, man.
Yeah, we did. Safe travels, John.
Yeah. All righty. We'll see you next week. We'll talk obviously the next couple of days. So.
Sounds good. All right. Later.
See you later, man.